Ginger? No thanks. I prefer garlic.
No! That joke wasn't good in 2021 and it's not good in 2025.
Tough crowd today. Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from Jinjer entitled Duel. This is the fifth full-length studio album from this Ukrainian progressive groove heavy metal crew. They've been kicking around for roughly 18, 17 years or so, give or take, but they really blew up in 2019 and 2021 with the release of Macro and Wallflowers, respectively. And full disclosure, right off the bat, I'm not a huge fan of those records, but looking back, I can kind of see why they blew up. Like, they were filled with fierce, beefy riffage, some anxious, jagged, uncomfortable moments and tidbits, some strong vocals, courtesy of Tatiana Shimalyuk. Are they as mind-blowingly magnificent as the average Jinjer stan would have you believe? No, not in my opinion, but by no means truly awful or terrible or incompetent. And I bring this up because, quite frankly, whatever opinion you already have of Jinjer is very likely only going to be reinforced and validated after having heard Duel. Like, if you are a Jinjer stan, and if you love Macro and Wallflowers and everything they've done, and you really do genuinely believe they are the best, most creative, most ambitious band in the world right now, congratulations, you're going to fucking love Duel. But if you're anything like me, and you've been underwhelmed by Macro and Wallflowers, and you feel as if Jinjer have quite consistently not lived up to the insane amount of hype, congratulations, Duel is probably just going to be a big pile of meh for ya. Though I will concede, of everything I've heard from Jinjer thus far, I do feel like this is their strongest collection to date. Like, this has some of their best riffs, some of their juiciest fucking tones. Tatiana's killing it vocally across the board. What this thing lacks in imagination and in creativity, it makes up for in just being a genuinely pretty fun and well-made groove metal record with at least a few twists and turns to keep the average metalhead invested. Pretty consistently across the board, Jinjer do a good job at blending the piss and vinegar and ballsy brutality and groove-laden riffage of a band like Lamb of God with the technicality and the darker shades and extremity of a band like maybe Decapitated, with some riffage and bass licks that wouldn't be out of place on a Meshuggah record or a Tool record, plus metalcore style clean vocal choruses, deathcore style beatdowns and breakdowns. And it helps that Tatiana is a fairly strong, diverse, and charismatic singer herself as well. I do feel like the production on this record is better than it was on Wallflowers. Wallflowers always felt kind of dry and kind of thin to me. This has a juicier sound and feel. Like, it's noticeably a little louder, a little punchier. Everything just has a little bit more body and spice and oomph. Opening number Tantrum does a pretty good job at demonstrating all of this, with some rabid riffage on top of some jagged beats, equal amount of dirt and nuance here right off the bat. Not the craziest stuff in the world, but you know what? It's fun, it's cool, it's got a nice technical proggy flow. I like how Tatiana comes in with her clean vocals as well, some cool melodies. I even kind of fuck with some of the quieter sections. I like seeing the band kind of build tension in the latter half of this, leading to a more explosive finish. Not bad at all. My head was bobbing, I was invested, I was there. Nice start. Then there's Rogue, which does a good job at finding a sweet spot in between the aforementioned Lamb of God and Meshuggah, with a slew of groovy technical outbursts, but also a shitload of fucking attitude and dirty, nasty, gnarly riffage. Tumbleweed is an alright cut as well. I like its moodier, more anguished screams and lurching grooves. Green Serpent is solid. I like the ebb and flow of Tatiana's vocals in between these pounding riffs. Someone's Daughter follows a pretty similar but successful kind of musical trajectory, and it's emboldened by some pretty strong lyrics. As Tatiana writes about the experience of being a woman, about envisioning herself as a warrior, about finding and building strength and resolve and power and independence within her own identity, within her femininity. Writing, "O brutal world, I'm not your enemy. The role of warrior brings nothing but the misery. If a woman's wings are trimmed and her radiance is dimmed, This is over, this is over. You will see her ride a broom. With a force to be reckoned, to be no longer the second. I am no longer a daughter. I eat them for breakfast. I eat them for lunch. I have audacity to throw the first punch. And honestly, even though it's like objectively the most generic and mindless cut on the record, I still kind of fuck with Fast Draw, you know? Like, it's just got this really explosive, almost Slipknot style kind of energy to it that I just find it appealing. It's fun, whatever. Across the board, too, there's a decent amount of fancy, funky fretwork to be found. Some nice prominent bass licks, some almost jazzy, percussive patterns here and there. Like, in the heat of the moment, I think the record is genuinely kind of fun. The problem is, nothing ever really sticks with me afterwards. Like, there's nothing here that is big enough, that is satisfying enough, that is flavorful enough to really stick with me after having heard it. It doesn't help either that Jinjer are relying on a grab bag of tired metal cliches like the death metal blah vocal outburst and open tab riffs and ham-fisted breakdowns. Like, the sheer existence of these things that you've heard a billion fucking times and honestly have been memed to fucking hell dilutes the most inspired and the most interesting elements of this record. It makes it feel more generic and forgettable by default. And frankly, I just want more. Like, I'm sitting here waiting for Jinjer to do something bigger, better, bolder, more brutal, and I'm just not really getting it. I'm getting more of the same that I got before, and it's better than before. I will concede. And again, I did genuinely enjoy this record, but I want more. I want a record that sticks with me, not a record that's just fun in the moment. I want to hear the album that Jinjer fans hear when they listen to Jinjer. I want an album that lives up to the hype of Jinjer. And we're still not quite there yet. I'm feeling a mostly enthusiastic 3 out of 5. I'm not loving this the way that I fully expected Jinjer fans to love it, but I did probably get more out of this than I did with the last couple of records. I do think it's more fun. I do think it's a little bit more cohesive. I think it's produced better. In the future, I just need Jinjer to take some fucking risks. Like, take a big fucking leap of faith. Shoot for the moon! Fuck it. Go for it. Even if you fail, you'll land amongst the stars. I'm not sure they will. They seem pretty happy doing what they're doing, and they've enjoyed success from doing what they're doing. But look, that's what I want. Straight up. But I'm not going to get what I want, because this is a cruel and sad world. If you love Jinjer, you'll love this album. If you've been kind of meh on them, you'll be kind of meh on this. That's that. 3 out of 5. It's decent. I had fun. We'll see if I remember it in 2 weeks. But I had fun. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. Join us on Discord, and as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.